Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rash's World. Today we have a special guest, Stacey Nye. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Very good, pretty good. How would you, the first question is the toughest. How would you briefly describe yourself to our audience here? What would you say?
Mind like a Rubik's Cube and a very big heart and very kind.
Well, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you are the co-creator of the Fix Code, and it's something that I'll also kind of experience a little bit too. What is that all about?
Yeah, so the Fix Code was created by my business partner, Daniel Flear, who has been studying for almost 40 years now, hypnotherapy and NLP, and he's learned from the masters. He's really gone straight to the top to learn from the best because this is his passion and it was very much his um, interest. But how he made his money was he was a businessman, he was an entrepreneur, he owned video stores. So we're aging ourselves here, video stores and pizzerias. And so he's a very, very smart businessman at also. But this was his passion. And about in 2000 and I want to say eight, I believe, or something, somewhere around there. He had an experience we call the blue light experience, which is on our website. Anybody can download it. It's his version, his words of what happened to him, which was a very spiritual experience. And through this experience, he feels like he started to remember this technique. And then through our journey, we've now been partners for, business partners for 16 years. So through this journey, we've also had a lot of spiritual experiences of it through meditation and through downloads and through bigger connections of yeah, downloads, I guess most people call them. And we've learned that it's like we're two sides, like yin and yang, where he's got this story here and I've kind of got this story here that I've known my whole life, he's known his whole life, but there's this piece in the middle that connects us that only he had the other half of the story and only I had. So it's been a very, very cool journey, but he
How
remembered
did
how to
you
do this.
how did you paths cross? Did you know each other previously, or how did that happen? I'm just curious about that.
Well, it's funny when someone says to me, "So did you know him previously?" I'm like,
Uh,
"Well, 26,000 years ago I met him. Yeah, we signed a
sure.
contract. We're good." Yeah.
Yeah.
So did I know him before? Yeah. Did I know him in this lifetime? No. So one of the very strict parts of our contract from 26,000 years ago was that we weren't allowed to meet until 2010 on this planet. So yeah, so we never did. And then in 2010, I was 45 days into a separation of a 20-year marriage. So, my
Mhm.
the bottom of my life fell out. But I hadn't shared this with anybody. I was very quiet about everything. And there was an incident about 6 years before that that really started the kind of collapse of my marriage and the whole thing. So we just it was like an accident and we didn't come out of it the same way. Like I went into my own silent hell and he went into he could conquer the world, he's beat death and made me very scared all the time. So we were coping with this accident very differently and we were coming out of this as very different people. But when I met Daniel in 2010, um, it was very quick because a friend of mine, I owned a gymnastics club at the time, and one of my coach's moms popped her head into my office and kind of found me crying because I was that's what I cried alone. I didn't cry in front of people. I cried alone. And she said to me, "Hey, Stace, not really sure what's going on with you, but I ran into a high school friend last weekend at this fair, like healing fair, healing, exhibition kind of thing. And he's doing this really cool work. And I told him about you because you know everybody in the world, like because my background is Olympic Games. I've lived all over the world. So um, working in on big contracts, big events. So she said, I want to introduce the two of you because I really think you could help him, with what he's doing. And I was like, wonderful, that's great, thank you. And she said, and what he does is really, really cool. And I've made you an appointment on Friday morning. I hope you don't mind. I was like, wonderful. And she's like, I've paid for it, the whole thing. Like, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, great, fabulous. So I actually felt like, wow, if this guy could help me, this would be really cool because I'm kind of falling apart. And I didn't really know what to do. I've never done talk therapy. I've never really done healing modalities. So I was really at a like my grit could only get me so far, and it was now starting to show that my grit wasn't so gritty. I was starting to crack. So when I met Daniel this particular day, I walked in and it was interesting because again, this is where like our first spiritual interaction happened because even though we were face to face, my first words to him were, "Oh my gosh, you're real." I had seen him in my visions my whole life as like an elder, as in like a wise man, that kind of thing that counseled me in a way. So yeah, so when I saw him, it was like, whoa, like you're real. And then I started crying, and he was like, wait a second. He sat me down. I didn't even know his name at the time, but he sat me down and he did the work with me, the same work I did with you. Takes a couple of minutes, feels like a guided meditation. It's very nice, feels very nice. And my first extraction was called sad, and I was really really sad. So he did the work with me, and I could feel that I was in the presence of excellence. And because of my background and my Olympic background of like being, I mean, it was my job. I was surrounded by excellence on a day-to-day basis. Um, I knew what excellence was. I grew up in a home of excellence. So when I came back to now and floated back into my body, as you experienced, I went and shot my mouth off and said, I don't know what you just did, but I'm going to figure out what you just did and I'm going to teach the world how to do this. And I kept my promise. I did that. I have, created an online training with Daniel. It's amazing. You absolutely learn how to do this from the online training. We have live classes. We have the support system of we call them heal the healers, or mentors that are with you once you sign up. They're with you for the your journey with the fixed code of doing work with you, just kind of supporting you through the training. Um, and we have lots of things for lots of people. Like you can become a client, you can take fun courses. Like I'm a content creator, course content creator. I absolutely love taking the fixed code and finding all these different amazing ways to help people break out of the maze or find your authentic self or ignite your passion to purpose. So I course create and have a blast with it. So you can take courses and do this too. But it was instant. The moment I met him, my life changed like right like that. And again, I shot my mouth off and then I had to keep my promise. I couldn't break my promise. So yeah, 16 years later, I'm doing exactly what I said. I'm sharing this with the world. I figured it out what he did. We put the training together and we've been training practitioners that are all now certified practitioners. And then I'm now meeting people like you all over the world that are helping me share this. So I couldn't be
Yeah,
more excited. Yeah.
that's wonderful. I do have a strong belief in fated events, like things that,
Yeah.
are going to happen. And even if you try to avoid it, it will occur. But for me, I
Yep.
think like a fated event was when I just randomly walked into our library. I had some extra time from work, and that was like about 10 years ago or so, and just like looking for random books. I just ended up stumbling upon the French section and then found this book. It's like, oh, I know this filmmaker Jodorowsky. He wrote a book called Psycho Magic, and it was in French. So I was like, okay, I can practice that. And then that really opened up the. It's a lot of the things that you're saying too. It's like with the unconscious of like, it's a form of magic. I mean, it is. It
It
really
is.
is. I think that's like
Well,
the perfect title for it. And
yeah.
then the unconscious for me became real after
Yeah,
that moment.
absolutely.
It
Oh
was
yeah.
before it was like I had studied it, I knew about Freud, and like, yeah, there
Yeah.
is the so-called unconscious. But then
Yeah.
at that moment, I realized, wait a minute, we're talking for real, right? This is
Yeah.
real. And
Yeah.
then what can we do with it? And when I started working with the unconscious, again, my own and so on, things fell into place. Things made sense. I
Yeah.
felt liberated
Yeah.
through that. And
Yeah.
so, yes, I'm a firm believer in this.
Yeah. Me too. And that's the thing. The fixed code works with the unconscious mind. That is what it
Mhm.
works with. And when you're talking about magic, I call the fixed code magic in motion because
Cool.
it
Yeah.
is magic in motion
Yeah.
because every single word is magic in motion. It's incredible as you've experienced. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
it changes how you feel. It changes um, it it
It changes our perspective in many ways. And once that
Absolutely.
changes, like everything, like even relations that we have, relationships and like even like maybe anger and frustration, it kind of like you see it in a different context, in a different light, and it kind of evaporates on its own, where
Yes.
you just it opens up a path to forgiveness to
Yes.
of yourself, but also others. And you just
Yes.
it's a realization that is pretty amazing.
Yeah. And we look at these things like they're programs, right? Like they're
Mhm,
parasitic programs that are causing a lot of problems because they're
mhm,
attached to our memories.
mhm,
We feel them like the trigger goes off, we feel them in our body, right, these things are wrapped around our nervous system, so then they wake up, so now we can feel them physically, whether that's like panic or sad, or our body does stuff when we start feeling things, which of course causes dis-ease, which is that's the whole other podcast. But
mhm,
that as with the fixed code, because these things we Daniel can see them, and now like I can identify them very quickly. We train how to see them and identify them and then basically kill them, is remove them right from the physical body and the unconscious mind, is that these things are also attached to our memories, which is then, so when they're triggered, they move up and then they move into, like, we call this the grand illusion. So now we're in the stories, we're in that building, we're at our mother's house, we're listening to this, we're doing that, like we're in the past, or if it's a fear, we're in the future. So it's these things that are causing the problems,
mhm.
not what's
I,
happening in our lives.
And
Yeah.
I like the terms, and I'm going to look at fixed code specifically in a few moments, but I like also you used extraction.
Yeah.
So extraction, like it could be a medical procedure, which I don't find exciting. I thought of like people, doing a heist. They're
Yeah.
like breaking in through these defenses of the ego, and then they find it, and it's
That's
jewel,
right.
and then they take it out, and then suddenly, like, you're free of it. Yeah? Would you say that way too?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
I love it. And so the fixed code.
So it's the F is for Flear, which is Daniel's last name.
Oh, okay.
The I is for the practitioner's intuition, like,
Okay.
because we can't teach intuition, you have to like find that on your own. And then the X is for the extraction.
Oh, that was the extraction. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
And then the code, so it's the fixed code. The code is whatever you answer to the magic question. So here's the magic question. So you answered the magic question when we did our session, and whatever you said is what we did the extraction on, right? The technique. So I'll ask your viewers the magic question so they can like feel, because you're what's going to happen to your viewers is that they're going to feel the word, the feeling float to the top, and it's just going to be like a word, and it's like that right there, that feeling is what's causing all the problems for you,
Hmm.
because there's thousands of events and memories that you feel that way about.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
when we do the technique and we remove the feeling or the fear, whatever it is, it's disconnected from all your memories that you felt that way about, which is
Mhm.
why you're starting to use different strategies and you create new habits, because the old neural pathways aren't there anymore.
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
fixed code actually changes the neural pathways in your mind with
Mhm.
habits and strategies. They completely fall apart, which is great.
It's kind of like a block too, when it's like you're releasing the block, and then things can
Yeah,
flow again in many
yeah,
ways. And
yeah.
the fix though, I mean, you are fixing certain things too, like the
I
word
guess so.
itself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well,
And
to me, it's everybody's healing themselves. Like
sure.
all we're doing is we're giving them the platform to be able to do the work with their unconscious mind and heal themselves. Like, because
Mhm.
it is, even though there's two or more gathered, right? Then the
Mhm.
third mind shows up, but the person is doing their healing. It is their
And,
healing.
and
Yeah.
and you call it a unique self-help tool, and that's
Yeah.
that's exactly it. It's on the self. This is not a form like of therapy. This is not talk therapy or traditional forms of therapy, and definitely no
It's a
medication
technique.
involved or agenda per se, but more really a technique, like a tool of
Absolutely.
again
Yeah.
extracting certain
Exactly.
things. Yeah, I like
Exactly.
that.
And
Yeah,
it's extracting horrible stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But also like once you do that, it also like not only do you feel better, but I think like a lot of root causes of our disease, and I like that term too, is because we're not feeling comfortable in our own skin for whatever reason, the emotions that we have, and so on. And that
Mhm.
causes has repercussions in terms of physical symptoms as well. And
Absolutely.
personally, like once I dealt with my things again, like over the past years, blood pressure is not an issue anymore, right? And
That's right.
again, there is no need for that. I had sleep apnea, and
That's
I
right.
don't have it anymore for
That's
a
right.
few years now, right?
Yeah.
And it's really working, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like
And
trying
it
to
does.
also convince, like maybe not my family physician, but others trying to convince, like, hey, you know, give this a try. And
Yeah.
it has no side effects, and in unlike
No.
medication. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like the more that when people do like a self audit, like an emotional audit,
Hmm.
there's a lot there. And the cool part is when we apply the fixed code to all of that, call it self audit, when someone is at the point where they're ready to do that inner self audit, emotional audit, the fixed code is so efficient and so on point. And every time we do the work, you will feel it removed from your physical body
Hmm.
because it's not only in the unconscious mind, it's also wrapped around our nervous system causing problems. And so every time we do the work, your physical body heals because
Hmm.
that thing is no longer causing problems. It's not taxing your nervous system anymore. It's not like gut wrench or stabbed in the back or can't move forward, like your ankles, your knees, your hips. If you've got hip issues, it's like, and lower back, it's all of that fear of not being supported, feeling not supported, like all of those things. So anybody that comes to us, it's like, oh, this hurts or that hurts. We don't claim to be able to fix or help with physical ailment because we have no proof. And yet thousands
Hmm.
and thousands of people have said to us, oh my gosh, it's gone. We're like,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. It's like
Yeah,
again, really treating, I think, the root cause, and that's like
every
looking at
time.
that, right? And
Yep,
once again, that's like taken off, then you feel like it has repercussions in terms of health. And I like the
absolutely.
code too because there is like it's kind of like neuro NLP, like neuro linguistic programming, where
Yep,
you are entering like a code and you are switching the code or something like some sort of changes that happen there on that deeper
yep,
level that has again consequences in our life. And again, relieving trauma, right? Releasing it,
yep,
letting it go, so then you can be closer to your authentic self, the way you actually really are, instead of like this
absolutely.
persona
These
that you've been
programs.
creating.
Yeah,
Programs,
yeah.
yeah,
They're
exactly.
just programs that
Yeah.
are that are in there that are in our unconscious mind. And the interesting part is our unconscious mind doesn't care. It just
Hmm.
it doesn't, it's just there and it runs the program.
Hmm.
So with the fixed code, when we can go back and do the work, um, and it's gone forever,
Hmm.
can't come back,
Hmm.
and that's where the real change is. This is why the fixed code is kind of taking off because people are
Hmm.
realizing
Hmm.
it's quick. It's like 5 minutes.
Hmm.
It's efficient. It's beautiful. It's graceful. It's powerful. It's life changing. The neural pathways are changed. The physical body starts to heal fast.
Hmm.
We get younger, faster, smarter, because the clarity is
Hmm.
incredible. The sense of presence is, it just is.
Hmm.
Like that's the result. So
Now, from personal experience, though, it's not, it hasn't been for me something rapid. Yeah, it's something that I think has taken a lot of time. And it's something that, again, in my view, needs continuous work. And because the problem
absolutely.
with like healing too, and I always thought it's like, okay, well, once I'm healed, everything's fine. But it's like, no, there is no point where you're once completely healed. This is like
That's right.
an ongoing process and an ongoing journey. So
That's right.
it's not like it's also not about the end point again. It's about that now this journey is getting more interesting. I
That's
like the
right.
landscape much more,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
it's not being focused of like, okay, like reaching like enlightenment. I've always been like as when I was younger, like I was interested in that, but now I'm like less and less interested because I'm
Yeah.
like I'm more interested in how things go. And if that arrives, sure, but if not, I'm okay. That's not my end goal.
Yeah.
Because then you lose sight of everything beautiful that goes around us and that
Yeah.
happens to us.
Yeah. So when you were talking about like it's not a one shot deal here. Like
Hmm.
like I've been doing this for 16 years and I
Hmm.
still to this day have extractions
Hmm. Yeah.
because I keep reaching and more higher and higher in frequency. So
Hmm.
every time I take a jump in a timeline or a frequency, it's like, wow, this is a whole new landscape. So, wow, I've never been here before. A little nervous. So here's an example that people like they can grasp really quickly, and I
Hmm.
love this. It's like because everybody I think has done this exercise. Someone will say to you, okay, so how do you feel about having $10? And they're like, I can do $10. All good. Okay, so that's one level of frequency. I'm comfortable with $10. Okay, how do you feel about having $500? Ooh, that's a big jump.
Hmm.
No, I'm still okay. I'm still okay. There's not really nervousness here. Okay, all right. Now I want you to think about $5,000. And they're like, ooh, no. And now there's resistance.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So and then I'll say, well, how about 5 million? And they're like, oh no, like I wouldn't even know what to do. Like, no, 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 I don't know what to do with that. Okay, because they can't identify with 5 million. So, for example, my life journey, right, with the fixed code has been when I met Dan, I could barely do $10. Like I'm just like I can't. Like I'm done. Like I'm so full. I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm betrayed, I'm scared, I'm so many things. I'm sad, like I'm all so many things, right? So I could handle $10 on in that emotional space.
Yeah.
Not very long after, I was like, I could do 500, like no big deal at all. Like that's so easy. So I've now jumped into 500. So here I am at 500 going, this is a little deeper. Oh, okay, hang on. A little nervous here. And then I did those extractions. So fear I'm going to do something wrong. Fear I'm going to say something dumb and lose everything. Fear, okay, those weren't there when I was sad, hurt, and betrayed. I could have cared less what I said. I wasn't even noticing. So every evolution, every expansion that a human being goes through, it's a brand new territory. And so
Hmm.
there's going to be new things that we've never experienced that might give us a little bit of nervousness, that might give us a little bit of like hesitation or resistance or whatever it is. And so I will never stop using the fixed code because I never stop looking inward and checking in. I check in all the time. Like, okay, so what's going on with me right now? Like, this is making me a little bit like pissed off. Like,
Hmm.
what's going on? And then I realize, oh, it's something I've never dealt with before. Like, holy smokes, because I've never been at this level before,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So,
and it's self-awareness. It's so important, but
absolutely.
also like not shunning away from certain kind of darker thoughts and feelings. And that's like some people just close off the door, and I think you're just like blocking yourself. It's like you
Totally.
just gotta walk towards it and just go through it. It's not comfortable. Most like the best insights were completely uncomfortable for me, but
Yes.
then you come out on the other side much stronger.
And I think by having the fixed code, because I have the fixed code and I know how to do it, it's like
Mhm.
I am armed against anything scary. Like it
Mhm.
doesn't matter because the
Yeah.
fixed code is mine. I like I own it. Like I can pull it out of my back pocket anytime I want,
Yeah.
metaphorically, and know that I can get through anything because within 5 minutes I'm not going to feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
be scared. Yeah, it's
And
amazing that way.
so I had a minor experience of that, like what last week when we went to your party to me, and
Yeah.
I found it most interesting because there was a sense of relief. It was very quick, as you said. It was just a few minutes. There was a sense of
Hmm.
relief too. What it did is also kind of decrease my inhibitions, and so I think that
Yeah.
that's for better or for worse because I took some actions where I thought like I wouldn't normally do that, and I did that, and
Hmm.
it didn't necessarily have positive consequences. But then my feeling about it changed too. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well it's good that I have less inhibitions, right?
That's right.
And without having to resort to like alcohol, where people use that. It's like,
That's
okay,
right.
now I can do stuff. It's like, no, it's a more natural and
Yeah.
again effective and
Yeah.
again no side effects. You're not like, contingent upon something. You can something that you can do
Congratulations.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. And
Yeah.
just because it didn't work or
Mhm.
what you thought was going to, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Who cares? Like, thank
That's
you for
true,
the
actually.
learning. I'm
Yeah,
not, but you no longer feel
that's it.
bad or confused or whatever it is about that
Mhm.
thing. You're
Mhm.
like, now I
Mhm.
know I'm going to move on.
Yes.
And without the inhibition there or without
Mhm.
like the stopping you, you're
Mhm.
just going to go for all sorts of amazing things
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
yours, right? Like
Yes.
we talked at the
Yes.
beginning about fate. They're yours because you're going to go from them now. I truly believe there's so much here for us. But
Mhm.
if we're nervous or hesitant or resistant to to receiving or going after it or taking action, we can't actually receive it,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? Like we
Yeah.
have to go for it. So
Yeah. Right.
um, many people do it just out of sheer grit, sheer discipline. You know, they can take action and just do it no matter how scared they are. That's cool. Like good
Hmm.
for them. But
Hmm.
most people can't. Most people's patterns and
Yeah.
these parasitic programs click in and it starts talking you out of it. Like, don't do it. You're going to get yelled at, or
Hmm.
you're going to get hurt, or you're going to
Hmm.
get betrayed, or you're going to get screwed, and all the talking starts in your head. And that's the grand illusion. That's what we talk about.
Yeah, yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, yeah, and that's worse. Like what we see, because when you actually experience it, it's like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
That's
I
right.
imagined it much worse, and it's like, oh,
That's
this
right.
is it, you know, it's no
Yeah,
big deal, really. But it's
that's
that
right.
fear that is like blocking us, right? So
Yes.
we don't take that step. And so, did you probably deal with a lot of people who have a lot of anxiety, perhaps
Yep.
as well, and
Yep.
depression and so on. So how is that interaction going? Like, how do they approach this? And then what have you seen as a change or end result with them?
Yeah, so anybody with anxiety or depression, please click go to our website at thefixedcode.com, click the button, get a complimentary session. All of our certified practitioners are volunteering. Like this is just part of our philanthropy program that they volunteer to help people with anxiety. I mean, they showcase the technique, and you can either hire them to be there for them to be your practitioner, or you can learn how to do this yourself. You know, we've got all sorts of things there.
Hmm. Hmm.
But if you have anxiety and depression, anxiety, the energy sits up here. Like you're like, ah, right?
Hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
you're making pictures of the future going wrong. So anybody out there with anxiety, that's what you're doing. You're making pictures of the future going wrong. So
Hmm.
my question to you is when you see those pictures, you're afraid of what? And whatever you say, which is one or two words, whatever that word is, we then do the work. So there's no telling me stories. I don't need to know, and none of our practitioners, this whole technique, we do not need to know what the issues are. All I need you to do is whatever you're looking at these pictures going wrong, whatever when you see those pictures, you're afraid of what? You might have three or four or five fears right now going, yep, yep, okay, I'm writing them down. And then the magic question is, so anybody that's depressed usually, and this is the question we ask, is biggest problem you have in your life right now, when you think about it, that thing that just kind of rips you apart or keeping you stuck or blocked or whatever it is, or keeping you in bed or keeping you like not motivated, whatever that is, when you think about it, how does it make you feel? If you could put it in one or two words, what would it be? And whatever your answer is what we're going to do the work. And it takes a couple minutes. And when we do that work, you no longer can feel that feeling ever again,
Hmm.
and it does change your life. And then the goal is that you continue to do this audit, this inner emotional audit, where you do book sessions and you do keep doing this work, because it really is a beautiful way through the healing process, which is graceful. Just because it's quick doesn't mean it doesn't work. And we're not skipping anything. For anybody out there going, it's too fast, you're going to be skipping steps. We're not skipping any steps. When you experience this and you see and again, it's almost impossible to see all the levels of quantum healing that is going on all at the exact same time. But we're not missing a step, I promise.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
the thing is also like because like we are saying with like depression and like often it's like because our brain is seeing patterns in things and it's trying to
Hmm.
predict things and it's also
Hmm.
based on information from the past that we use to look at the present and so it's
Hmm.
already tilted in many ways and then it could be
Hmm.
tilted in a negative way. So it's kind of
Yes.
like a way of like correcting that view or the lens and seeing
Yes.
things, in a clearer way. And so
It's true.
without having to repeat the same pattern, because it is a vicious cycle and you are trapped in a vicious cycle. And
Yeah.
it's not like lack of will. It's because you just maybe don't have the tools or
Well,
again, get trapped in it, get sucked into
yeah.
it.
Yeah, well, we talk about how the parasitic programs are kind of like a cold in a way, right? Like
Hmm.
they're a thing
Hmm.
where a cold doesn't care if it hits a baby or a 95-year-old. It doesn't matter. Like it's not going,
Hmm.
"Ooh, I'm going to target her."
Hmm.
Um, and these things are the same.
Hmm.
Now, what happens is that when the memories are triggered and if they're brought up into the grand illusion, we go into a loop,
Yeah, loop.
and
Yeah.
and we can't get out of it. We're there
Mhm.
for days, sometimes decades. We're in this
Yeah.
loop.
Okay.
Okay. We
Yeah.
can't let it go. Where
Yeah.
the fixed code stops the thing, it removes the thing that's causing the loop.
Hmm.
It's not going to change your memories, but it's going
Hmm.
to change how you feel about your memories,
Hmm. Yeah. No, that's
which
awesome.
is totally different.
And other kinds would be you also for strategic guide for leaders for organizations as well,
Oh,
and
yeah. Oh,
that's
yes.
another aspect of your work. Yeah, can we talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
that too? Yeah.
Yeah. Pro athletes, everything from like moms, who want to learn how to
Mhm.
do this to
Sure.
work with their kids. Because I was a mom, my child is a fixed code kid. All of his friends are fixed code kids. All
Yeah.
my friends are mom, like the moms are all fixed code moms.
Hmm.
So it's everything from moms to CEOs, pro athletes, ballerina. Like we've had clients from all over the world in all sectors of life, and we just keep doing the work. We just keep helping people and we keep training people. That's the most important too, is that we keep the more people we train how to do this and certify how to do this, the more people can be helped. Um, like that
In other
without the
words, you that every it benefits everyone. That anyone can
benefits
can
everyone.
benefit from this. And
Yeah.
also, like funny, I'd like to see one quote that I found, which I found very interesting, was "Look for the good; it's everywhere." Can you explain that? I love that.
Oh, that's Daniel's favorite saying, and he
Yeah.
lives by it. It's look for the good. It's everywhere because
Yeah.
it is. And with when you are in presence, and the reason people are not in presence is because they're being pulled back to the past by these parasitic programs, or they're being scared out of their minds because of these parasitic programs, making pictures of the future going wrong. Okay, so our job is to remove these parasitic programs from the physical body and the unconscious mind. That's our job. And when you don't have these parasitic programs running your physical body or your mind, the loops or whatever, you're present. And so in presence, you can see the good. It's everywhere. Yeah. It's
Mhm.
really hard to see the good when you're angry or pissed off
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
enraged or whatever. So when we start doing this work, it becomes so easy to see the good because it's everywhere.
Hmm.
Um, and it's very easy to forgive because you
Yeah.
start to see the good in
Yeah.
whether the event you might the event may have been really big and traumatic and the whole thing, but through the fixed code we heal that. Like it becomes a neutral event in your life. I know that sounds impossible, but I've done it thousands of times where I've helped somebody heal a traumatic event and in a very short period of time, and they get clarity on the event, and then they can start looking at the event with compassion,
Hmm.
and they can see that there were good things that came out of it.
Hmm.
But
And I
but the
like it.
but yeah,
It's an invitation to look again. That's to look for it, right? Because
look
when
for
you
the
assume it's not there, then you don't even bother looking, right? But it's just
that's
like,
right. Look
try,
for
right?
it.
Look
That's
for it.
right. Look
I
for it
like
because
that.
it's
Yeah.
everywhere. And even if
Yeah.
you are like in all sorts of like out of sortness, look for the good because you'll
Hmm.
find it
Hmm.
everywhere.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Stacey Nye. So you're the
You're very
co-creator
welcome.
of the Fixed Code Strategic Guide for Leaders, Coaches, and Organizations. And again, your website, I'll add the link to it there. So awesome. Thank you so much for being on Rash's World.
Thank you so much. You take care.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.